Welcome to another edition of Pop, Lock, and Drop It. I am your host, JD. For those of you that are watching for the very first time, welcome. We'd love to have you. Stay a while and enjoy the show. So in this segment of the J&J Toy Giants YouTube channel, we go over all things Funko. Whether it be Pocket Pop keychains, Funko Pops, vinyls, you name it. And today, my lovely wife, Siobhan, surprised me with some pops that I've been talking about for a while that were just recently released this year. And so let's get started.
Dirty Pop.
Yo. BT.
All right, so we're gonna go in order because this is an actual property that I grew up watching as a kid. This particular film I actually love, even though now over time they haven't really aged as well with the newer, superhero films that are out now. And I'm talking about the Riddler.
I hope you made extra.
Who the hell are you?
Just a friend. But you can call me the Riddler.
From Batman Forever. And so this was actually recently released not too long ago. And so they're now going through all of the villains through the Batman franchise because they just came out with the 80-year anniversary edition of Batman. So they have all of the incarnations of the Batman, even in the films, comics, and even cartoon series, I believe. But the Riddler, played by Jim Carrey, was a phenomenal role for Jim Carrey. I loved it. He actually, even though it was over the top, if you look back to it, it's kind of silly. But back then, that was, he hit the mark. And of course, on the back, you can see that there's only two pops on this particular line for this movie. And it is Two-Face and the Riddler. No chases that I know of, or that I'm aware of. But it is actually a pretty cool pop, very close to what it looked like in the movie. And so that is a really great pop. I actually saw this on Clark's Toys. It's actually been popping up on my Facebook feed for quite some time. I definitely have to go check them out. They actually had this one, the Two-Face that you saw on the back. And it also had the other villains like Penguin, Catwoman, and the two Jokers, the actual Common and the Chase. And they all had it for like $100 if you wanted the Chase, but $60 without the Chase of the Joker. So that is actually a really great pop. You can see it right there again. All right, so let's go over the next one.
I hate when people talk during the movie. All right, everyone. Chill.
Yes, so the next one that I'm going to be going over with you today is none other than the Governor himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger, basically going over his role as Mr. Freeze in Batman and Robin, which I believe came out in 97. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with this particular movie because, as I said before, when I was a kid, I thought these movies were great, except for this one. Although I do have it, I still watch it from time to time just to get a chuckle. But this movie back then was a little bit too over the top. I think because if you've watched a lot of the documentaries with this particular franchise, specifically with the movies, like with the 89 and the 92 Batman, that were done through Tim Burton, specifically Batman Returns, they kind of got a little of a backlash from the parentals, around the United States and around the world, really, because it was a little bit too dark, a little bit too violent, I guess they said, and because they had to deal with McDonald's at the time, I think McDonald's pulled all of their merchandise because a lot of parents were complaining that they thought they were going to go see a kids movie. So when Joel Schumacher took over the Batman Forever and Batman and Robin franchise, or the sequels, he made it more over the top and campy, kind of like the 66 Batman that we all know and love with Adam West. And this this is what became of it. This is the actual what we had for this particular movie. Now, on the back, you'll see there is Mr. Freeze, which I have now, and Poison Ivy. Now, I don't know because of the pandemic if Poison Ivy is out there. I have not seen her out in the wild. I see her online, but I don't know how if they're actually fulfilling a lot of these orders for the Poison Ivy. But if you have a line of where I can get a Poison Ivy, let me know. Slip it in my DMs, and we'll talk. But this is actually a pretty cool pop. No pun intended. Because we all know this guy, it was the king of puns, which kind of is what the love-hate relationship with a lot of folks have with this sequel. Pun Central. And, of course, George Clooney wasn't that great of a Batman in my estimation, in my opinion. He's actually gone on record himself stating that he didn't like doing the Batman. I guess it was just a cash grab for him. But it is actually pretty cool. There has been a custom out there that I've seen on Instagram, and where I believe it was more metallic, and it even had lights. I believe it was a custom. But they finally were able to get this guy out there. Of course, like I said, there's only two because of the franchise of the actual pops. They only have two of the villains. So for Batman Returns, they only had Penguin and Catwoman, and for the '89, there was only one villain. So that's why they made the Chase. The one, I believe the Chase is the one where he has that little painter's hat, and his makeup is smeared, so it's half brown, half white. And of course, the regular, '89 Batman Joker that we also know with the purple suit and the top hat. Or the fedora. I think it's a fedora. But that's pretty cool. So I was very surprised when my wife actually showed me these, and I'm like, oh my God, you got to get these. So thank you, kudos, love you, honey. And all right, so let's get to the next pop. All right, so this was actually a pop that I was kind of kicking the tires on for quite a while. But I finally kind of got the guts to say, get it, because it was a really good price where I was finding it. It's a common, it's not an actual Chase or anything like that, but it is Johnny Rico from Starship Troopers. Now, this is not specifically a common. As you can see, this is an actual Funko 2019 Summer Convention limited edition. So it's not a Comic-Con, because normally they would be very, very exclusive. But whenever you have a sticker, they normally don't have as many available because they are an exclusive piece. So I was able to find these, not hard to find, but, it was kind of like, well, do I get it? Because they don't have a line, I don't believe, of the Starship Troopers. And as you can see on the back, it just shows a still of the photo of him in the movie. And you can see on the actual box, it actually came in a pop protector when I bought it off of Macari. And so you can see the kind of the alien plasma or the blood, I guess, that's on the box, kind of like it's splattered all over it, which is kind of a cool thing. But as you can see on the side, you can tell, and I apologize for the glare because of the pop protector, but you can kind of see that some of that stuff is on him as well. I actually love this movie more than I thought I would when I first saw it, because I thought it was kind of like a B movie that you can see normally on Netflix now, but before, when B movies, you go to the Blockbuster or your mom and pop video store or Hollywood Video, and you would see the actual high, the studio sci-fi movies on the top shelf, and then on the bottom, in the mid to the bottom, you'd see all those B movies, and this was actually one of them. And I'm like, and I believe it did have a theatrical release, but it was considered kind of a B movie-ish kind of a, movie itself. But I certainly thought it was a really good movie. So I was always a big fan of the Starship Troopers, so I finally got this. If there's any other ones, I don't believe they are, I will definitely be keeping these in mind. It's a pretty good pop, as you can see, and I apologize again for the glare because it isn't a pop protector. Not a lot of sellers will give you these for free because they are kind of expensive. But yeah, so that pretty much does it for this edition of Pop, Lock, and Drop It. Be sure to like and subscribe. And also, as you noticed for the last few weeks, that we've been doing the Collector of the Week. Again, we want to make sure that we encompass all and get everybody participation for collections and collectors around the world. I've certainly been, engrossed myself in the community that is collectibles. If you have any type of collection, whether if it's comics, trading cards, Funko Pops, action figures, books, cameras, sneakers, whatever, be sure to actually send us a video, and don't worry about the editing. I will make you look great, because I need to practice, because I'm always learning as I go, doing all these videos. But send it to us, and we will nominate you for the Collector of the Week. And congratulations to Sean Trackey, which I showed on a previous video on our J&J Toy Giants game time when we did the Bop It. And he showed us his collection of Funko Pops and action figures. But be sure to like and subscribe and comment on our video submissions. And stay safe, everybody. Keep on cruising. Bye.
¿Qué onda, muchacho? Arriba las manos, caballo moreno, pelete.